Hello, 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 and welcome to another Queen video. I was going to do this, but somebody suggested it. So I thought, hey, it's another Queen video if I do this one. Yeah, we're talking about the Freddie Mercury tribute concert broadcast on Easter Monday on 20th of April 1992. Produced by Ray Burdis. I know him from Operation Good Guys, a forerunner to The Office, which never gets enough credit. Go and watch it. It's a comedy show. And David Mallet directed it. David Mallet's very famous for the many pop videos he directed over the years, working with Bowie and Queen and whatnot. So, yeah. And it was at Wembley Stadium in front of an audience of around 72,000 people. That's without everyone watching at home because it was broadcast live. And I watched the bloody whole thing, all of it. Watched all of it, the whole thing. Yeah, again, I have vague memories. Vague memories. I remember when Mercury's death was announced and Brian May Roger Taylor said they were going to do a thing. They were going to celebrate his life, and yeah, it was a big surprise when it finally did happen because you hear these things, you think, oh, maybe it'll be something small, maybe a TV show or a special. But then no, it turned out to be a really one of the last big like concerts of the 90s. I'm trying to think if there were any other big ones. I think we had the Live 8 and Live Earth things, but that was in the 2000s. But yeah, I think it was in the 90s. This was like the last gasp. I think it's one of the last ones that Wembley Stadium, as we used to know it, hosted before it got knocked down, bulldozed, and rebuilt. But yeah, this was broadcast on the BBC. I think it was on BBC Two for I think its entirety. Because again, it was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. I'm trying to remember all of it. I was looking at I'm currently looking at the Wikipedia page, trying to crib my way through it. Trying to get it to trying to remember. It's interesting to see some of the people that took part. Yeah, I remember Metallica opening, and it being quite a muted performance. Everyone's like, yeah, because again, even though Metallica are a big band, I don't necessarily think it was a Metallica audience. Extreme did well because again, according to this, they did a Queen medley. I do remember them doing stuff. There's Gary Sharon, isn't it? And Nuno Bettencourt. That's all I know. And they had an album called Porno Graffiti or something. More Than Words. See, this is it. I'm just riffing now. And they did a lot of Queen stuff in a medley, which I thought was good fun. Again, it was more in the spirit of it. I could have understood if these bands did slipped a few Queen things in their set, but Metallica played their own stuff. Def Leppard had Brian May turn up to help with Now I'm Here. Again, even they did it. Bob Geldof, I think I went out for the toilet break then. But yeah, Spinal Tap was there with the Majesty of Rock. And if I remember, Nigel Tufnell was playing his yellow custom guitar with all the pickups in it. Majesty of Rock, The Darning of the Sock. Love that song. Again, U2, they did it. They did it via satellite. But I probably went for a toilet break then. Guns N' Roses, yeah, I remember doing them. Them being doing on the thing because the old knock knock knocking on heaven's door. I didn't know whether it was appropriate or not. But I think sometimes Guns N' Roses is covers are quite interesting, and I think I enjoyed it. I think old Axl Rose really hammed it up and used the stage because he was like bouncing all over the place. And then we ignore all the other stuff like the AIDS prevention speech. Again, Elizabeth Taylor's there. So yeah, just go out again, make a cup of tea, and then the second part of the concert begins with actually the band Queen, or the remaining members of Queen, come on, and they're joined by a rolling roster of guest stars. And it opens with "Tie Your Mother Down," with Joe Elliott and Slash. I wasn't impressed because I don't like that one. It got a bit weird when Roger Daltrey joined the band because they did, like I say, Heaven and Earth, a little bit of Pinball Wizard, and I want it all. And I remember that, and I'm thinking, and it was a little bit. I thought, oh, I don't know about this. Is this going to work? Is this going to work? And then I thought, oh, it's not going to work because they were joined by Zucchero, whatever that is. He was didn't he have like a chart here, Una Senza Donna or something? I don't know who he was. He looked like the fella out of Yellow, didn't he? He hadn't washed for a week. Um, and they did Las Palabras de Amor, and I wasn't that impressed. But that was to cater for the Euro market. Oh, Euro music. Oh, don't worry, folks. They'll let us back in without visas. Just give them enough time with their own music. Then Gary Sharon and Tommy Iommi. Tommy Iommi was on there a lot. Looking at this, they did Amateur 4 again. Sharon, he was quite a front man. But didn't he do a little bit of time? Did a bit of time with Van Halen, and everybody hated him. poor Gary. I thought he had a good set of pipes on him, but it wasn't really my cup of tea. But yeah, Stone Cold Crazy I thought was quite good because James Hetfield from Metallica joined them, and I do remember that distinctly. And then Robert Plant wanders on, and they do Innuendo, which sounds a bit like Kashmir, and they did a bit of Kashmir as well during it, so that was cool. And Crazy Little Thing Called Love, which was a bit weird. It was a bit weird. Not sure if it worked. Brian May does a solo bit with Spike Edney for Too Much Love Will Kill You, which I've never been a big fan of that song, so I probably had another toilet break. Radio Gaga with Paul Young, It's all right. Seal comes on. Who remembers Seal? I won't tell you that joke about seals having flat dicks because I don't think it translates. Who Wants to Live Forever? Again, I don't remember it, so I don't think I was that impressed by it. Lisa Stansfield came on with she had her hair up and had a Hoover mimicking I Want to Break Free video, and I thought it was all right. Again, I've always got a soft spot for Lisa Stansfield. I thought she had a good set of lungs on her as well. But Under Pressure with Bowie and Lennox, Annie Lennox was pretty iconic. And Bowie didn't Bowie do the Lord's Prayer or something? He got on his knees, and it all got a bit weird and solemn. And then he was joined by Mick Ronson, Joe Elliott and Phil Collins, for all the young dudes. Because again, Ian Hunter was with them. Mott the Hoople. That's the Mott the Hoople bit, because Queen opened for Mott the Hoople in the early days of their career. So that was good. That was a little tribute to them. And of course, Bowie wrote all the young dudes as well. So that's pretty good. And then the next song, Bowie stayed. Bowie was on there for he was on there for 3 songs. Bowie, you got good performance. But and Mick Ronson stayed on for Heroes, and the featured artist, a little shard of blackness twisted itself further towards his heart as he heard that being played. I doubt if he did. I imagined he was probably berating some crafties somewhere at some commune. Then Bowie did the Lord's Prayer. So I'm remembering it out of sequence. George Michael comes on, and George Michael, I miss old George. He's another one who's gone too soon. Big fan of Wham back in the day. Why should you have ever given George Michael your chocolate bar to look after? Because he was always careless with his whisper. That's a terrible joke. But yeah, George Michael did 39. These Are the Days of Your Life with Lisa Stansfield and Somebody to Love. And Somebody to Love was absolutely brilliant. I remember saying to the missus, they should get George Michael to front the band now. If they ever do any more gigs, because I thought it was a really good fit. I thought it was just. I thought it was really, really good. Now, that was probably the standout for me. And then Elton John comes on, and Axl Rose. Now there was a bit of a beef there because Axl Rose had said some things. There was some homophobic stuff in, I don't know, Guns N' Roses lyrics, probably from their first album, and I think they kissed that, didn't they French kiss on stage or something? That's how I remember it. And they did Bohemian Rhapsody, and but Elton stayed on for The Show Must Go On, and he hammed that one up. Axl Rose then came back on for We Will Rock You, and then the most bizarre thing happened. Liza Minnelli turned up, and they did We're the Champions, and the throng came on and joined them, and then God Save the Queen ended the gig, and we sat there open mouthed, not quite believing what we'd just seen. It was interesting. It was, but it's not something that I choose to go back to and revisit. It was interesting at the time, and I'm sure it was quite emotional. I'm sure I got a bit teary eyed at some parts of it, but I thought, it's one of those things that you watch, you go, oh, okay, and it raised a lot of money for, I don't know if it was the Mercury Phoenix Trust at that point. But I know it raised a lot of money for charity, and that was nice. And they've released it on DVD and whatnot over the years. And I think it was in the last year they put it up on YouTube with money going to COVID support. The band Queen put it up for people to watch. But yeah, it was okay. Whether it was the right send off, I think Freddie would have wanted something a little bit more bombastic. I think Montserrat Caballé was missing. They should have got her on. I thought maybe she should have come on and said something or done something, because again, Barcelona was still fresh in our memories, and again that's what annoyed me. Barcelona was meant to be one of the songs for the. Wasn't it the Barcelona? It was either their Olympics or their Expo. It was one of those things, and because of Mercury's AIDS status and HIV status, they didn't use it because that's those days. Those days are and that annoyed me. But yeah, they should have got Montserrat Caballé on and did something with her. I don't think it was bombastic enough. I don't think it was extreme enough for Freddie. It needed to be bigger, more It needed to be more bonkers. Yeah, it got bonkers with Liza Minnelli coming on, and Elton John singing with Axl Rose. That's pretty bonkers, but still, Paul Young, really? Did we need to see those guys? Some of the choices I thought were a little bit, bizarre, and some things worked really well, like Bowie and Annie Lennox. I thought worked well, and of course George Michael. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that tribute concert. Do you have any thoughts? I'll pretend to be interested, and so you can leave your comments in the comments box below and tell me what you thought of it. Did you watch it at the time, or maybe you've bought the DVD or whatnot? And did they ever release it as an audio CD? I don't know. Home releases, VHS form. I've never bought it. Oh yeah, they've done a DVD version and a Blu-ray. That was released in 2013. Interesting. And several songs have been released in audio-only format as A-sides and B-sides. So yeah, that's it. That's me talking about the Freddie Mercury tribute concert, also known as Concert for AIDS Awareness, that was held at Wembley Stadium on the 20th of April 1992. It was a bank holiday weekend, so that was good. We had nothing. We weren't doing anything. Who goes anywhere on a bank holiday? It's always full of people, isn't it? So we stayed in and watched this all day. So there you go. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you didn't, well, there's not a lot I can do about it. Ta-da!